And again, thank you for joining us tonight. In addition to myself, we have Jane Dunn from our games management team, and I believe Susan Holland will also be joining us. So just wanted to spend a little bit of time tonight to share with you some updated information. Thank you to those who were able to join us for the first of these two HOD webinars, which we held about a month ago. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of information covered here that's repetitive from that session, but we can give you the latest and greatest as we go through. So let me click there. There we go. So we'll go over some updates on registration, the master schedule, and some other things that are there. We'll show you the updated map, upcoming webinars and meetings, and then open it up for questions and answers. And again, if you could please mute your phone by pressing *6. And that would be great. That'll help with the background noise. We certainly do want your questions, though, so just remember to unmute your phone when you have a question. So the registration process. The registration competition deadline was on Monday. At that point, you had to have all your registration information in terms of what events everyone was entered in, their teams, although we handled most of the teams for folks for softball and for cheerleading, but their events, their scores, and such. In addition, by the 18th, all chaperones had to be entered. If you had an HOD, that had to be entered as well, and their volunteer applications had to be in by the 18th. Chaperones and an HOD were the only people that you could add after the training registration deadline. Several folks took advantage of that opportunity. You do have, and I should also say that at this point in time, while your GMS or your people who have GMS access can go in and look at what's in there in GMS for summer games, and they can go in and they can run reports, they can do exports, so on down the line. You cannot make any edits or any changes to any of the records that are in there. Pointed out because of the next bullet that's there is that we will accept updated scores for aquatics and athletics until Monday. To submit them, these are only improved scores. These are not event changes. To do that, send an email to your regional sports director. That would be Nick Anderson for Southern Maryland and the Eastern Shore, Sam Hodap for the Baltimore City, Baltimore County area, and Melissa Anger for Central Maryland, the DC, Prince George's, Montgomery, and Howard County, as well as Western Maryland from Carroll West. Again, just send those in via email of any corrections. We will tomorrow, a very slim possibility tonight because this takes about 3 hours to run all these reports, but we will send out to each area director and registered head of delegation reports or rosters to review. These will be very similar to the reports that we sent out right after the training registration deadline. That would be one for your overall delegation that lists everybody who is registered and their events, and then also that split out by sport. So you have a single report for all of your aquatics athletes or your aquatics delegation and so on down the line, so that you can send those out. The only folks that we entered at headquarters were your softball and your cheerleading rosters. All the rest were entered by you or your folks. So hopefully there's not much that you need to review. If there is any kind of a problem or any kind of an error, can't promise that we can correct everything or change everything for you, but if there is any kind of an error, right away, please get in touch with your regional sports director. We plan to start the divisioning process on Tuesday afternoon for aquatics and athletics. Melissa Kelly has already started going through and doing that for bocce as well. So we do need to have the information back as soon as we can. Depending upon when you let us know, it may be too late to do something about a particular situation. So again, in writing to your regional sports director. We covered this at the last head of delegation meeting and at the area directors meeting in April, and just want to highlight it here, although I don't know that there's only a handful of areas that this would apply to based on the registrations that we have in hand. The standard registration fee for overnight delegation members is $60 per person. That's the same as it was last year. And all the areas built that into their budget that they developed for this year. That covers roughly half of the lodging and meal costs per person. It does not cover anywhere near the overall costs for summer games in general, but we do pass along the lodging and meal costs for the overnight registrations. The actual average cost per person overnight is $122. We say average there because depending upon whether they're staying in the Glen Towers as opposed to staying in Paca, there's a different rate that we pay, that Special Olympics Maryland pays to Towson for that space. So the average is $122 all told for that. Similarly, or for delegation members who are day of, there is no fee to the areas for your delegation members. Special Olympics Maryland does incur a cost of $16 per person for lunch for those individuals, for lunch on Saturday and lunch on Sunday. Again, doesn't cover all the costs of summer games, but in terms of meals and lodging. The reason I point that out is there has been a bit of a trend in some cases with summer games last year and winter games for the past 2 years to have exceedingly high numbers of coaches and chaperones compared to the number of athletes in their delegations. The expected ratio is 3 to 4 coaches, chaperones, or volunteers for each athlete. We're not even counting the unified partners. The unified partners can also provide supervisory roles for their folks in their delegation, but some of the unified partners are younger, and that may not be the case. So we're not even counting them in the equation, just looking at athletes to coaches, chaperones, and volunteers. If we have folks or a delegation that has a deviation from that 3 to 1 ratio, and so we're going to go and go to the 3 to 1 instead of 4 to 1, there will be chargebacks to your areas. We're not saying you can't send those additional folks. We are saying that you'll pay the full rate for their lodging and meals. That'll be charged back to your area. So in those situations, if they're an overnight individual, that's above, for every overnight person you have above a 3 to 1 ratio compared to athletes who are registered to stay in the dorms, the fee for that individual will be $122. And for day ofs, folks above that 3 to 1 ratio, your area is going to get charged $16 a person. And again, it's just we need to do some cost management here. We're not saying you can't send them. There was a concern that we may not be able to accommodate housing for folks, and I think just by giving the heads up that this is a challenge, I think some areas opted to cut back. Some of the areas who had this challenge before had many more coaches or chaperones, scaled back the number of people that they registered. But we were running into a situation where we may have run out of space because of so many additional registrants. So if you do have some type of a special need for athletes who truly require a one-on-one or whatever, talk to your regional sports director. And we'll see what we can do regarding that. Again, we're not saying you can't bring the extra folks. We are saying that the Special Olympics Maryland subsidy that covers either the full cost for the day ofs or roughly half the cost for the overnights, we won't be subsidizing these additional folks. So just want to be sure, again, I know it's a little repetitive, but this is a bit of a change. We started it also with winter games, so this is something that we'll be continuing to do.
Hey, Mike, I have a question. Bob Baker here.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. Back on that comment, just to be perfectly clear, so we have parent chaperones staying overnight, and we have coaches and volunteers that come during the day only. So we won't be, that won't count against us as far as the overnights, right? Because we'll be way above the ratio if you count all the parent chaperones and the coaches together.
What we will look at, Bob, is when Jane has the final housing, I'm going to skip to the next slide for just a moment, because the cutoff on which we're going to base all this is going to be June 1. Just as with winter games, we gave you a date by, if you tell us who your scratches are by then, there's no charges. We'll do the same thing for summer games. With June, if any scratches that we have by noon on June 1, there won't be any charges for anything associated with those. So that's it. So on June 1, we'll go through the housing and whatever we have, and we'll mark out anybody, and we'll look at, in terms of your overnight accommodations, we'll look at how many people you have overnight, compare it to how many people, how many chaperones, coaches, whatever, who are staying overnight, and compare that to the number of athletes who are staying overnight and base the ratio off of that. If you then have a bunch of folks coming in that are day of, we'll need to look at that, and we can take that offline because we're still providing the meals for all those additional people, and there's a cost associated with that, and and you're welcome if that's how you want to manage your area, and I'm not questioning that at all. That's fine. It's just we're only going to subsidize stuff to a certain degree. Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I wanted to make sure the overnight rate would not apply. We're fine with paying the lunch rate.
Yeah, no, the overnight would only be based on who actually is housed for that. So,
very good.
Okay, great, thanks. So, going ahead with the June 1 deadline again. Any scratches that you have, please get them in. And actually, let me change that. It says to email to your field services. Sorry, I copied this from last year. It's your regional sports director, and not me. Many of you know in the fall we did a little bit of restructuring. Quite honestly, too much stuff was going through my hands to handle. So Nick Anderson and Melissa Anger's roles switched, and they are now your regional sports directors. They deal exclusively with sports-related stuff and competitions. All the stuff should go through them. Please, I mean, you can copy me if you want, but they're the ones who are going to handle it. Not that I don't want to talk to you. I love talking and working with folks, but I become a bottleneck by everything going through me, and it's just not workable. So anyhow, go through them. Same thing goes, any questions from tonight that we aren't covered tonight, go to them first. They can handle or address most of your questions or can track that down for you. So again, then sort of what I was just saying with Bob there, after noon on June 1, we'll then go through and tally it up based on the overnights and the folks that are there day of, and work out the chargebacks to your areas based on that. So, and again, part of the reason it's not just who shows up is we pay for those rooms. Whether somebody sleeps in them or not, if we tell Towson that we're using that room, then they've put the linens out, they've had whatever they had to do to it, and we're paying for that space. So that's why we have to give an advance cutoff on that. Same thing goes, we put in meal guarantees. This is actually a little bit after the meal guarantee, quite frankly. We need to have that on the Friday before, but we also realize that we want to kind of balance that out with what you're capable of doing. So please don't wait till June 1. Let us know as soon as possible, or again, your regional sports director, but the June 1 will be the absolute cutoff on that. Okay. The master schedule, not a whole lot of changes here, but a couple location changes and a couple additions that we'll talk through. So on Thursday, June 4th, the tentative is the timing on that, but this is pretty much set. The delegation registration, same location it's been for the past X number of years. For those of you who have been there, it's in the University Union in the second floor lobby, and you'll be able to get all your stuff there. And then the head of delegation meeting will be on Thursday night. Will be in a different location than where it's been before. It will be in the Lock Raven room. That's where we've had the head of delegation meeting on Saturday night for the last couple of years. There's two reasons that we're doing that. There's the biggest one, quite honestly, is it's a better use of space, but we believe, we can likely set up a conference call option there for folks who aren't able to physically get there. We know that there has always been several people who are not able to join us in person, and if possible, I can't guarantee it at this point, if possible, we will have conference call capability for that meeting. And if that is feasible, we'll let you know. When we send the reminders out and such, we'll send the conference call information as well. So, and to do that, that room has to be where we do it. If we go down that route, the place we've used before, there's just too much of an echo, and it's too open and such that conference calls just would not work there at all. Then on to Friday. Cheerleading starts off at 11:30 at the Towson Center. We will be providing lunch for cheerleading delegates only, based on their listing as the sport of cheerleading as their primary sport. So that would be, all of your actual cheerleading competitors, as well as coaches and chaperones or volunteers that you have listed or who have listed cheerleading as their primary sport. So they'll all be taken care of that way. We'll have family hospitality there as well. When we get to family stuff, Susan Holland, I believe, is on the phone with us, and we'll let her touch base on that when we get to a future slide. Dinner will be in the Susquehanna Dining Hall. We had pursued the option of having dinner at the block party this year. We just cost-wise, it was between the dinner and the associated other costs of tenting for the venue, as well as additional tables, chairs, so on down the line, is not something we can afford to do this year. We are planning to build that into the budget for next year. It is something we definitely want to do. We just could not afford it based on the budget this year. But it's something we definitely want to do in the future, is have dinner at the block party. But for 2015, dinner on Friday will be from 4 to 6 in Susquehanna Dining Hall. The block party then will go from 5 to 7. Merchandise will be available there. We'll talk a little bit more about the block party in a moment. We'll have coaches meetings in the University Union at 6 o'clock for athletics, bocce, and softball. Cheerleading will have been done. And in terms of the actual locations and such, that'll all be gone over at the coaches' webinars that are next week and on June 1. Parade staging, similar to what we've done before, that'll start up around 6:30, and then the opening ceremony in CQ Arena at 7:30. At approximately 8:30, they'll come back out from the ceremonies, as we did last year. I think it was the first time we had done it. We'll do the torch lighting live out in the parking lot, where we've rearranged things a little bit, and both from a standpoint of visibility and also from the sound. We know that was the feedback that we got last year was that the concept was great, and some of the execution was great, but particularly the audio execution, the audio did not cut it. And so with a couple rearranging of locations, as well as then supplementing the sound system, we're confident that we can make that a much better experience. And it was pretty exciting last year for those of you who were able to be out there for it. On Saturday, again, breakfast in the dining hall. There are shifts for breakfast based on sports. That'll be in the event guide that'll come out. We're expecting that to go out over this weekend. We're in the final edits on that right now. But basically the softball and I forget the other sport that goes first is so they can eat and get on the bus or get to where they need to get to. Aquatics, I'm almost certain, is second. Bocce is probably second shift as well. So I think it's softball and athletics first. Again, look at your event guide when you get that in the next several days. Buses for Cockeysville softball location will start at 7:30. We then have our competition, as noted there. Aquatics is back on campus in Burdick Hall. Athletics, bocce, and softball at the various locations there. We confirmed last night that we have family hospitality available at all the competition venues, so a big thank you to the families who stepped up to help with that. Healthy athletes will be available on Saturday at the Towson Center from 11 to 5. Merchandise will be available there as well going into 9 o'clock, and dinner back at the dining hall. There will be an HOD meeting at 6 o'clock in the same room, the Loch Raven room. We have the Olympic Park and Dance. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a couple slides from now. One other new thing that we'll talk a little bit more about is we are having for the first time, a softball game in the evening. It'll be I don't know which division, I don't know which bracket. We were looking at possibly doing two of them, but two games. But for this go-round, we're just going to go with a single one, and we'll pick the team matchups, making sure that the teams, there are several teams, softball teams, who have expressed interest in this in the past, and this will be an actual competition game, part of their event. And for those of you who haven't or didn't know this, the softball stadium there at Towson was completely rebuilt from last summer games. It is incredible. It's a beautiful venue. As you'll see on the map when we get to the map, you can literally walk right out of the door from the Towson Center We'll have signage there. It's out a side door, and you're right there at the softball game. So it'll be a nice additional opportunity or additional activity for folks. And it's something that, again, we're doing it for the first time this year. It's something we certainly want to expand, or at least look at expanding for other sports in the future as well, some evening activity along those lines, while still offering the dance and other stuff for those folks who are interested in that. And then we'll touch a little bit more about families when Susan, when we get to the slide for Susan on that, but the family reception is 7:30 to 8:30 in the CQ Arena, same place it was last year. Then Sunday, we do it all again. Breakfast again, same schedule, buses out. Competition, it says 8 to 3 o'clock. That's going to vary by sport and by venue. And once we have all the divisioning done and all the schedules and such done, we'll provide that information to you. That probably will not be until, excuse me, until sometime midweek, the week prior to summer games, or the week of summer games, I should say. So on or about June 3rd or 4th, we'll send that out. Well, as soon as we have it, we're not going to hold up or hold it back, but it's just there's a lot of stuff that has to happen to make that ready. And then also we have family hospitality there at the venues, as was noted. Some updates. I mentioned about the opening ceremony and block party a bit. Again, Friday will be in the dining hall. For those who aren't eating or aren't staying overnight, you are certainly welcome to go over and, or they are certainly welcome to go over to purchase dinner there. You would purchase that just by paying at the doorway. If there is anybody who has a need to get kind of a bulk order of dinners, please send your regional sports director and me an email, and we'll work out the arrangements for that in advance. But again, that's only possible by arranging that ahead of time. So if you have 20 people that you want to pay for ahead of time, contact your regional sports director. Please copy me on that as well, and we'll make the arrangements for that. The block party will be in lot 20 behind CQ Arena. Again, the feedback that we got on that from many folks was great in concept. The block party itself, pretty much, be honest, poor in execution. Not because of ill intent by any means, but there just wasn't much for folks to do. So Jane French, who many of you know, stepped forward and took over the block party this year, and she is working closely with Stephanie Novak. Jane works at Towson University itself, is taking this on as a volunteer. She's already recruited several of the Towson sports teams to come out and do sports clinics. So there'll be some nice activity there. We'll still have the DJ playing and some street entertainers, but there'll be a number of sports clinics, art activities, so on down the line. Some food vendors, Golfzilla will be back. But there'll be a significantly greater amount of activity and opportunities to keep folks engaged and to truly make it more of a block party and a fun activity than apparently it was last year. Mentioned about parade staging starting at 6:30, and again, we'll be coming in the same, weather permitting, we'll be coming in the same doorway that we came in last year. One other suggestion: we had a games management team meeting last night, and Anna Albert, who is both an area director for Baltimore County, but also serves on the games management team as the director of cheerleading, brought up that some folks had suggested to her that we have some stationary signs out in lot 20, one for each delegation, that they can sort of congregate around and have sort of a hub point just prior to the start of the parade staging, so that they, rather than waiting until whoever the volunteer is that's holding the sign for their area comes out. So we're looking at doing that. I can't promise that we'll have it, but it looks, I don't know, that's in the 90-95% certainty that we'll do that. So it's a great idea, and we'll see how that works. As was mentioned, again, the main portion will be in CQ, and it'll move everybody out to lot 20. If there is inclement weather, both the block party, or what we can salvage of the block party, and parade staging will be in the Towson Center. We would know that probably, we'd make that decision unless there's some kind of a flash storm that pops up out of nowhere. We would know that by Friday morning at the latest. and we would do that. We would get it set for that. The parade staging, while we would take sort of the route that we took 2 years ago when we first used CQ Arena, we know that there were some challenges with that, but we're working out some options to get folks down and in place in a more comfortable manner. Plus also the elevator, which was not functional at that time 2 years ago, is certainly fully functional. The arena, we were one of the first groups to use the arena at that point, and everything is functioning there. One thing that the ceremonies team definitely needs is by May 29th, if you can please email this to your regional sports director, we'll send a reminder as well, is the total number of your delegation members who you expect to be at opening ceremony and marching in the parade, walking in the parade and sitting with the delegation. We've provided them with the number of delegation members who are registered for your delegation. That doesn't mean that all of them are coming to ceremony, and they have this big puzzle to put together of how to fit everybody in and such in the both on the floor and up in the stands. In addition to that, not just the total number of delegation members, but the number of people in your delegation who use wheelchairs or have significant mobility challenges. While we would love to be able to get everybody on the floor of the arena, that's just not realistic. The space is not there. We certainly will have to have some folks go up into the stands, and we just want to kind of get a sense of who we're dealing with and what the what areas will have challenges, and minimize the number of delegation members who utilize wheelchairs or have mobility challenges who we have to have sit separate from their delegation, because again, we can't fit everybody on the floor. One of the nice things that we have added to opening ceremony, excuse me, is a large screen up on the stage. In addition to those of you who have been there before in the CQ Arena know that there's the scoreboard that hangs over the middle of the floor that has on all four sides a video screen, and it shows video of the event of the opening ceremony as things are going on. It shows the close-ups of athletes as they're coming in during the parade and such. For anybody who's sitting on the floor or in the first row or two in the stands, you really can't see that. So to enhance the experience, we do have large video, I don't know whether it's one or two, large video screens, similar to what we have at the Plunge, for those of you who have made it out there, that'll be set up on the stage so that people who are at ground level can see and experience that as well. We know that people were really excited about having that, having that projected last year, but a significant number of folks couldn't see it, so we're trying to address that with this. Let's see, moving on to transportation. On the next slide, I think it's the next slide, we have the schedule and routes. And again, for those of you who maybe joined us a few minutes late, you will get these slides. We are recording the session tonight, so assuming everything goes well with the recording and we get it uploaded, we'll send the slides out on the recording no later than tomorrow, and you'll have that. The next slide that has the schedule for transportation you'll have in hand. So this slide here is really a repeat from last year, but it all pretty much holds. Parking lot 11 on Osler Drive is permanently closed. It doesn't exist anymore, quite frankly. And when you get there, actually, the first time I came on campus in February, I think it was, and noticed there are significant changes around the University Union parking garage and where you come in. It's open on all, but that is now again open on all levels. There's access from Cross Campus Boulevard. The University Union garage is also accessible from Osler Drive, so that's there. We do have a shuttle bus. You'll see on the map, excuse me, in a moment, over at Towson Run, and the bus stop is in the same location that it was last year. George also asked, George Hergenhan, who coordinates our transportation, that be patient. There are plenty of buses on each campus. If you're on campus, you can stand. That's not required, but that is an option. And off campus, again, I missed eliminating the UMBC reference here, but to Cockeysville, no standings allowed. They'll be going on public streets. the schedule here, and we'll have copies available as well as a standalone piece. This is the bus schedule, and so you'll see for cheerleading, they've got George has a loop. This is tentative. This may be adjusted based on any additional information that comes in or changes in schedule. But there'll be shuttles running on Friday from 9:30 to 4, going from Towson Run to lots 13 and 14, and then and getting back for campus and over for cheerleading and such, and including the towers as well. Then from 4:30 to I think it's from 4:30 till 9. There'll be buses running again around to lot 20 for the opening ceremonies, and then the return loop coming all the way back. We'll talk a little bit more about opening ceremonies buses in just a moment on the next slide. And then you see the same, the continuous loops that we have throughout campus going on Saturday and on Sunday. On Saturday evening when it comes for the dance and the other activities, the loop changes where it doesn't hit the other sports venues but goes directly from the dorms and Towson Run to the dance itself. Okay. The Towson, also, if you have anybody who utilizes a wheelchair who needs access to a parabus, all of the Towson buses have wheelchair lifts. If there is a special, so they can handle, but they can only handle, I believe it's two people who use wheelchairs at a time or in a particular run. There's only that many spaces to hold. So if there are any kind of an issue or you have any special needs, please call the number that's there, and we'll provide that for you in other venues as well.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Are we certain that those are going to be properly functioning and have, be ready to take the athletes in wheelchairs? I know last year we had an issue with an athlete in a wheelchair getting back to the dorms from opening ceremonies, not being able to get on any of the accessible buses.
I'm just that's Mike Myers, Boulder
Yes.
City. Yeah, I think that there was a special situation with that, and what was talked there. George and I have talked through that issue, that specific issue from last year, and while it is every expectation that every shuttle, that the lifts are functioning on every shuttle, and they have, if something breaks down, there's nothing I can do about that. Or,
right. No, I know.
yeah.
I'm just.
But
I just have to do my.
No, absolutely. There will be folks there at the. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me go to the next slide.
Sure.
For at the end of opening ceremonies, one of the things that we are looking at is, number one, bumping up the number of buses to take folks back above and beyond what we have. One of the challenges there is that for each bus that we have, there's a minimum fee that we have to pay, regardless if we use it for 20 minutes or a longer length of time. So we're trying to balance cost against comfort with that. But that said, we will bump that up if we need to. One of the things that we're looking at and working out with public safety is potentially having the buses load on the opposite side of Auburn, over on the stadium side. It would involve folks crossing the street to get to the entrance to the buses, but the advantage that has is they can stage more buses there, and things can move a little bit more quickly for that, depending upon where they position things and such. So that's something we are exploring as well. But George will have individuals there. If anybody has difficulty, they'll be. I can't tell you right now how we'll have them marked or have them identify. We'll let you know that at the area directors meeting. At the head of delegation meeting on the 4th. But if you have any kind of an issue there, have that person talk to that individual, and they will do what they can to resolve that problem. I think part of the issue before was that well, I don't want to go into that, but that should resolve the problem there. They also will be. We are looking exiting from opening ceremony. If everybody goes down at the same time, it just won't work. So again, we are strongly requesting, talk to your delegation ahead of time, wait to have your delegation called. If we can work out a schedule once we know how many people are staying overnight and who's coming and so on down the line, we can give you a schedule of, these three or four counties will go in the first wave and these 3 or 4 in the second wave. But even with that, please wait until the master of ceremonies, the MC, who's playing the music, announces for folks to go down there, and that will help quite a bit. One of the challenges that happened last year is that, I don't know that everybody went down, but way more delegations went down to get on the buses and then were asked to go down at that point, and overwhelmed the capacity at that they had. So, again, George is very attuned to the situation and trying to resolve that, and again, we'll do everything we can to make it a more comfortable situation. Olympic Park and the Victory Dance. This is Saturday night's activities. Again, many of the activities that we have planned for the block party, the sports clinics and some of the art activities, will be carried over to the Victory Dance and to that activity. We do have part of Lot 21, which is the parking lot on the other side of the Towson Center CQ Arena. Again, we'll see it on the map. We have a sequestered section of the parking lot there that we can use for some additional activities outdoors for folks, and to put sports clinics there, whatever the case may be that we can do. Again, we know that there's a significant number of folks. While the dance is certainly very enjoyable and a large percentage of the athletes enjoy it, and many others are looking for some other opportunities. So between the sports clinics and art activities, we also will have a sort of movie night, if you will, in one of the classrooms there in the Towson Center. I can't tell you what it'll be showing. We should know on Thursday. It will certainly be an appropriate movie, whatever's shown there. But that'll be an option there. The dance theme is sports heroes. Come in whatever sports uniform you wish. The athletes can come in their own uniforms. They're sports heroes as well. And then, as I mentioned before about the softball game, right there, we'll see on the map in a moment how close it is. And I just strongly encourage you to have folks come out and watch a bit of that. It's a nice variation and a little bit calmer for those folks who maybe get a little bit overwhelmed by all the excitement and energy that happens at the dance. So, families. Susan, are you on the call? Or Debbie? And if you are, please do unmute your phone. Okay. Yeah, Debbie Credito, who is our family's chair on the games management team, had planned to be here tonight and found out today that she had a conflict that popped up and Susan was going to jump in. So I'll cover what I can here in Susan's absence. Again, there will be a family hospitality center at each competition venue. I can't tell you what the different activities and opportunities or features will be at each one. It's really going to vary by the space and the location and such that's there. One of the things, though, that we really need to stress and ask for you to stress with your folks is that the Family Hospitality Center is for family members. It's there for the benefit of family members who are there. It is not for everybody. It is not for the athletes. It's there for the family members. And so please advise your folks along those lines. There is a family reception, again, open to all family members on Saturday from 7:30 to 8:30. It's in the CQ Arena concourse, the same place it's been. It was definitely there last year. I believe it was there the year before. Yes, that overlaps with the dance and the other activities. Please work with any family members who are also chaperoning to make sure that there is still adequate supervision for your delegation at that time. There was a bit of most people know that there were a couple incidents at the dance last year that may or may not have been exacerbated or precipitated by some supervisory coverage there. I'm not 100% sure on that as a root cause, but there is generally a challenge with that. We recognize that, but there's only so much time within which we can schedule all these different things that are going on for the weekend. So please do encourage your family members to attend. There's no registration ahead of time, but it's a nice opportunity. But balance that with the supervisory needs for your delegation if they're in that kind of a role. Family facts, we did send out a few weeks ago to those folks who were registered in a summer game sport, just sort of a heads up of the different opportunities in terms of lodging and other opportunities and other things to make them aware of that. The actual family facts with schedules and other information for family members will go out on or around the 26th, which is Tuesday. I think it's pretty much done. They were just waiting for the final cleanup of some of the delegations in GMS. That will go out electronically and hard copy. Will go out to all the family members that we can identify. Again, we would need to have their contact information in GMS with the athlete's record in order to pull them for that. So there are undoubtedly some folks who will not receive this. Again, if we don't have an email address or a mailing address that's valid, they won't get it, but there's been a positive response to getting that out to folks. Merchandise will be available both on Friday and on Saturday at the times noted there. Sorry, let's see. There we go. For meals, again, all registered delegation members will get lunch on Friday and Saturday. I'm sorry, on Saturday and Sunday, correction there. So if they are a registered member of your delegation, that'll be lunch. On Friday, lunch will be provided only for cheerleading registrants, as I had noted before. Delegation members staying overnight on campus will be provided dinner and breakfast. Dinner on Friday and Saturday, breakfast on Saturday and Sunday during the designated times. They'll, as has been the case in the past, they'll get a swipe card that they'll use that'll cover their meals. If you lose your swipe card, there's going to be a fee to replace it because we're going to be charged a fee to replace it. So make sure folks keep tight rein on that. Again, they'll have the lanyards, and as they've had in the past, for them to hang on for that. Other individuals can purchase meals. The prices are there. The big caveat there is for lunch, while and the sales for lunch tickets would be mostly at the family venues. For breakfast and dinner, you would pay at the register at the line at the Susquehanna Dining Hall. For lunch, we only have so many made, and so there's going to be somewhat limited opportunity to purchase additional lunches. And again, obviously, we need to take care of the registered delegation members as well as the volunteers that are there. Any additional lunches are, it's complete guesswork as to what we've got. If you do have a need and you want to purchase some additional lunches, just as I had mentioned before about if you want to purchase a large number of breakfasts or dinners, whatever, for your delegation, please contact your regional sport director by email and copy me on that, and we'll arrange what we can on that and in terms of how to do the pickup and such. Specifics on lunch pickups and so on down the line will be covered in the individual sport sessions. The control center, again, is going to be in the Minigan room where it's been the last 2 years. That's attached to United Stadium and overlooks the stadium there. Delegation registration will be in the Union on the second floor. And there's actually 2 reminders there of housing keys, but that's for that portion. I'm going to turn it over to Jane Dunn, who I did see is on the webinar. So, Jane, if you could unmute your phone and share what you wish to share related to housing.
Thank all of the delegations for getting me all their information. It's been really smooth this year, and I have gotten pretty much everything I need. I'm just waiting to get a couple of more questions answered from Adam at Towson, and we'll be sending the housing list over to them. Since Adam's very busy this weekend with all the graduations, that gives me a couple of more days to finalize the housing list. So if you have any changes to what I sent you the last few days, if you can get them to me, say by tomorrow or Saturday, that way I can give as clean a list as possible to Towson next week. And everything else is the same. I will be at the Union at 2 o'clock on Thursday for check-in. And so if there's any questions, just email me, or if you want to pose them, if they're general questions that you think the group might need to know, just ask now.
And where do housing keys get returned, Jane?
The housing keys will get returned just like in the last few years. They'll be dropped off in the building where you're staying. And just to remember that you need to sign, when you drop the keys off, you will be asked to sign the form so that they know that they've been returned. And I want to compliment everybody. In the last few years, we've had very, very, very few missing keys.
Okay. And what is the fee for missing keys? Is that still $75?
There may be people on this call that know.
Okay.
My keys. I don't know exactly what it is, but
okay.
I know there have been a couple of missing keys, and that may be $75. That sounds high, but maybe it is.
Okay. Again, that fee and whatever will be in the event guide, I just don't have that handy or right in front of me right now. Okay. While we have Jane's line open, does anybody have any questions specifically on housing for Jane?
Jane, this is Ruth from Frederick.
Yeah.
I haven't received anything from you.
I received a notice that Frederick wasn't going to be needing housing.
Well, that's correct, but there are going to be 2 of us, so I need to let you know.
Oh, okay, Ruth, if you can just send me an email with that information, and I will add you to the list.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Any other questions for Jane? Okay. Great. Moving along. Healthy Athletes, again, will be returning. I mentioned it before that it's, again, 11 to 5 in the Towson Center. Have a couple different screenings. Special Smiles will be back. Opening Eyes was there last year, and Healthy Hearing. Fit Feet, podiatry will be a new one that we had that we didn't have last year, and some health promotion. For those of you who can get over there and get your athletes over there for this, we realize that that's not possible for everyone, but it's a great opportunity. It's free. These are physicians and such. There are great opportunities to get both examinations as well as other things. I believe, don't quote me on this, but as an example, there were some athletes who got free glasses last year. They don't get them on site. They're sent afterwards. I'm not sure about all the specifics on this. Carol Whiting is heading this up, and it's just an excellent opportunity. Again, for track and for bocce and for those playing softball at the Towson field, it's relatively easy to get there. Aquatics, we know it's a little more challenging. However, given the implementation of the schedule that we, with athletes' individual competition times that we've provided in the past, it is likely that aquatics, some of the aquatics folks may be able to look at their schedule and realize that they can come over for a portion of the time that they're there, and that it's available. So again, we'll continue with that. It was received, I don't want to make this on aquatics, but the addition of that schedule is something that we've provided for all the track athletes and coaches for the last, 10 or 15 years. We started doing that with aquatics last year, and that should help them manage their day overall much better than they've been able to in the past, and create these opportunities to step away and then for this other activity over at the Healthy Athletes Arena. Again, competition is the most important thing, though, that they're there for. Here's the map. Again, this is in the slide deck for you. It'll be in the event guide, and we can send you a separate PDF if that's valuable to folks, too. Most stuff is the same as it was before. The couple changes. PACA is the housing that we have over in West Village. I think we used Tubman or the Towson Run Apartments before, so PACA is this dorm right over here. The parking and bus pickup is back here at the main parking lodge. This is a relatively flat walk-up. There's no steps or anything from coming up the ramp here. There is a slight incline coming up from the parking area up to the PACA dorm, the PACA building here, and then of course a slight downgrade as you're going down. Aquatics again will be in Burdick Hall, and the layout that we'll have will be covered there. We're looking at having doing some rearranging with the space and the gyms that we utilize there for staging and for awards. Also, it was mentioned at the previous head of delegation meeting that we were exploring or considering looking at possibly having the awards for aquatics at the end rather than throughout the day or at the end of each session. That was a preliminary thought when we looked at the numbers from the past and did some number crunching and such. That's just not something that's going to work. So we will be doing awards at aquatics as a typical setup as folks finish their different events. Glen Towers this year are B and C. I think they were A and D last year, so variations. But again, here is the University Union. And to give you an orientation, this is York Road coming down here. The Baltimore Beltway is above the map. Towson Town Boulevard's here. So the University Union is this building here. That's where we'll have delegation registration. The dining hall is there and such. The Glen Towers are right here. And a nice, easy walk through a little on a paved path can be there. There is also a walkway over top of Osler Drive from PACA House that can bring you over here. The parking garage here, this is what we call the University Union parking garage. They come in. This section here is not parking. It actually, the layout is slightly different. This map is a year or two old. You actually come in here on this side and then can go up to the parking area. The parking on campus is free and no need for a permit on Saturday and Sunday. There will be a need for a permit on part of the day on Friday, and we will give you a passcode that you can utilize if you need to utilize that for parking, again, in any of the parking structures. In addition to parking over here for the Glen Towers, is parking, there's an open parking area here and another parking garage down here. That requirement for parking passes on Friday is primarily over here on the University Union side of campus. Over here on the Towson Center side, where you can park in lot 21 on Friday for cheerleading, there's no need for parking permits for that. Let's see, anything else that's down here? Lot 20 is here. I was talking about that before. This is where the block party and parade staging and such will be. The softball stadium on Towson campus is right here, this big star, and you can come right out of the Towson Center, which is the building adjacent to CQ Arena, which is where the dance and Olympic Park will be held. You can come right out here and walk. There's a doorway literally right there that you can walk out and come right to the stadium. It's a great location. And then if we have, or for the, in lot 21, weather permitting, on Saturday night, any additional outdoor activities will be over in this end of lot 21 here. It's sectioned off and is easily controlled in terms of anybody else getting in there, and for safety's sake and so on. What else on here? That's probably it that's relevant for you. Reminder on the pre-competition webinars are all listed here. These also went out to all coaches, at least all coaches for whom we had email addresses. That went out, a reminder of this went out earlier today, and we did see some uptick there. Please be sure, if you have anybody entered in any of these sports, please be sure to have them, have someone, your head coach preferred, but if your head coach is not available, someone who is knowledgeable in the sport and is responsible to get the information out to whomever. Please be sure you have someone of that type. If your head coach is not available, attend each of these sessions. And then also noted is the live in-person head of delegation meeting on June 4th at 6 o'clock. And again, if it's looking like we will very likely be able to have a conference call option, and would add that in for that session, and we'll let you know more about that later. That said, if there's any, it still says bowling tournament. Sorry, I snagged this slide from another deck. We'll change that before we send it out to you. But if you have any questions on summer games that you don't ask tonight, please go to your regional sports director first. and they're going to be more able to get back to you more quickly, typically, than I will. If you have any challenge with getting through to them, you can certainly email me as well. So that said, any additional questions that anybody has that we haven't touched on at this time? And if you do have a question, please remember to unmute your phone by pressing *6. Okay, hearing none. Thank you, everyone. Again, thank you for everything that you and your teams have done to get your athletes ready for so far this season, and for everything you're going to do over the next 2.5 weeks and that weekend. We certainly look forward to seeing you, and look forward to working with you and really making this. I think we've gone long ways to making this overall event very much a team effort from all aspects, whether it's staff, whether it's the games management team, but also a team perspective from the delegations as well, and all the support we get from you, and we really thrive on that. So thank you for all that. Again, we'll get these slides out along with the link by tomorrow. If everything uploads fine tonight, we'll send them out tonight. And please share them as you need to. Thanks much, and have a great evening. Good night.
Good night.